But I tell people with their projects, and they don't like me to tell you this, but the fact of the matter is almost every project you take on, you are starting behind schedule.
Yes.
Because of this matrix thing.
Yes.
We don't get all the people all the time, and we plan. This is our problem. We plan in effort hours. So we talk an expert, how long does it take? Says 8 hours. Okay. Yeah. Put 8 hours in the schedule. Well, they didn't bother telling you this guy's also committed to 3 other jobs at the same time. So his 8 hours is 4 days for you. And that's the way projects are. And then people wonder, well, why the hell am I behind schedule?
You're talking
behind schedule.
You're talking about such a basic concept, which is the crux of the matter. I think very few people understand that their misunderstanding of effort versus duration is the cause of a lot of their problems.
Oh, it's huge.
And then instead of dealing with it and doubling down on it, we come along with Agile and come up with story points in ideal time, and nobody knows what the hell they're talking about. It's just another attempt of identifying duration and effort. I think classical reason why we are often behind schedule.
No, I agree. I don't, and the sad thing is I don't think it's ever going to change.
Yeah.
As soon as we started to work in a matrix world, we introduced this problem that's really systemic to failure.
You're saying one of my favorite words, matrix. Another bingo word, which I think is great if people understood it. Let's do a simple. I think a lot of people who are PMPs, I think can off the bat understand the matrix, but in the PMP, it's kind of limited to what I call a two-dimensional matrix, right? So you have the line organization, which a lot of people say doesn't exist. It exists. It has existed for the last 10,000 years. It will exist for the next 10,000 years. I don't care what consulting firm comes along and tells you about flat organizations or agile organizations. At the end of the day, the organization that makes hardcore money is the one that works in a system, and that's a linear organization that has a vertical distribution and a horizontal distribution of responsibility, because that's the most effective and efficient way to make money with things that are not complex. So project management comes along and says, yes, but not everything is easy to do. Some things are complex, and therefore we need project. So that was that two-dimensional concept. Let me throw an idea at you. I think that in the next years, I think it's already happening, the concept of having a two-dimensional matrix is going to be expanded substantially, because also as an engineer, you'll know this. It's not only project management that works across all functional line departments, change management, or sometimes they call it operational excellence. You having worked for GE, I'm sure you were substantially exposed to Six Sigma.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that is also a classical cross-functional thing, right? I think AI could be a future cross-functional discipline that kind of serves the whole organization. Would you agree with that? And you see that project management, because it has superior matrix understanding, might be a good hub for some of those topics?
Yeah, I actually think it's almost going to be mandatory as we move forward to operate in that way. And I don't think ignoring it's going to solve the problem.
Yeah. One of my favorite companies that I've already done a podcast with, their head of project management, I don't think they call it PMO anymore. I think they call it project excellence or something like that. But it's basically a PMO. They're responsible for maintaining programs and portfolios, doing executive reporting, all that classical stuff. But at the same time, they're responsible for cross-functional risk management and for quality management. That's another example of, looking at matrix is more than a two-dimensional, but a 3, 4, and even engineering. I mean, engineering is often a department that doesn't serve itself alone. It services other parts and has to interact with other parts of the organization.
Yeah, and I think that's the other issue that you got to throw in here is not only are they assigning individuals to multiple projects, they are also asking those individuals to do maintenance work as part of their job responsibility. So now you got to take 30% of their time away to do maintenance work. And people bitch about that all the time. How can I do project work when you're asking me to do 30% of general maintenance work? I think somebody's got to get a grip on this.
Yeah. I think there's also the crossover between project portfolios and product portfolios is another issue that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think the very concept that a project has a beginning and an end is a great concept, but operationally it poses a huge problem.
It does. I agree. And the other problem is that people begin to falsely recognize when they're done.
Yeah.
It's not when you hand it over, it's the life it's going to live. I mean, if you hand over a project that was done on time, on budget, and it doesn't do shit out in the field, sorry for the language.
Yeah. No, you're talking to PM Cowboy. I'm familiar with shit. It's good.
Yeah, it's just it's that old throw it over the wall. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking that way, then you're not thinking the way you should be thinking as you execute the project.
Yeah.